Are you ready? It's time to begin some of the basic skills for being able to use your microscope and take a look at things that you might have around you in everyday life, or take a look at those special specimens that your teacher wants you to see. So some things that you're going to need. You will need a couple of pipettes, some water. You're going to need your Lugol's solution, as this is a setup for your examining cell structure, and some methylene blue, a few pieces of onion so that we can take a sample from those, some tweezers, another pipette for using with Lugol's. You might also want a small piece of paper towel, and I will explain what that's for later. You're going to need your microscope slide. You also need a slip cover. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a moment while you make sure you have all the supplies you need. Great, we are ready to begin. Some important things with using different items to get drops onto to get your slide wet for your specimen are that when you use a dropper bottle, you want to make sure that you are straight up and down to drop the drop onto your slide. If you are using a pipette, you want to make sure that you are dropping onto the slide the drop at a 45-degree angle. So just a couple of particulars so you get the perfect drop for your specimen. So I'm just going to do a sample of how to set up a wet mount. You're going to need your slide and your slip cover. I'm going to use a drop of methylene blue so that you can actually see it. The goal of this is to have no bubbles on your slide. Now sometimes that's a little bit impossible, especially when we start taking onion skins. And you'll see that in just a moment. All right, I'm going to drop one drop of methylene blue onto my slide. Now, when you go to put the slip cover on the slide, you want to start your drop of the slip cover or release of your slip cover at a 45-degree angle. So you'll come at a 45-degree angle with the drop, aim for it to be in the middle, release that slide cover, and as you can see, we still got a few bubbles. We still have a few bubbles in there, but as the slide cover comes down, most of it has flattened out. Okay, so one of the things that you can do when you're setting up a slide is what if two drops out of your bottle and you have too much, just use the side of a paper towel and wick away anything that's extra off the edge of the slide. This will also help keep you from getting this on your hands. Methylene blue will stain your clothes and it will stain your skin for just a couple of days. All right, so the goal is to try not to have any little air bubbles like you see here as best as possible, because that makes it hard for you to see and it keeps the slip cover from being as flat as it could be. So let's try it for real. In preparation for examining cell structure, which is activity 3.1.2 for animal and activity 4.1.2 for plant science, here we go. We are instructed to get some onion. So I have a piece of onion here. And we're going to go after just the tiniest, ittiest, bittiest, thinnest slice that we can on the inside. So if you have an onion and you cut your onion, you want to cut it into the rings, all right? Because then when you take the piece apart, this thin skin that we are after is just in there between the layers. The tweezers work pretty well for pulling that free, and also your fingernails can work well too. Just remember to wash your hands. So let's see, I think I had this piece started. There we go. I have found that the tweezers, because they are so pointy, once you get it loose, then you can peel it free. You probably can't see this little thin piece of skin here. I like to do a drop of water onto my slide, just so that I can manipulate the piece of onion skin to stretch it out. It's going to be real important, this is where you can use your tweezers as well, to flatten that out as best you can. Because you want this to be as thin as possible to look through a compound microscope. We're going to be looking at cells. Then the directions say that you need to add a drop of Lugel's solution. So I'm going to try just to pull up 1 drop out of my pipette here. And you add 1 drop of Lugel's. Then we're going to add the slip cover. Again, we're doing 45-degree angle. Lower that down. And as you can see, it's working its way through the slide there, underneath the slip cover and around the piece of onion. So what the Lugel's is going to do is it's going to stain the different organelles and different parts of the onion skin cells that are in there, that are in that piece right there. And it's going to allow you to be able to see those different parts as we put it on the microscope and take a look, which is our next activity, is to put them on the microscope. So get your specimens ready, and then join me in the next video on how to focus this into so you can see it.